I am going to get started. So once again, my name is Brian Preston from a company called RealReports. The easiest way to think about RealReports is AI supercharged CARFAX for homes. It's going to make a lot more sense in a minute when you see it, but that's the easiest way to think about it. Before I start talking about the platform, I always like to start by talking about the team. So we are a team of real estate professionals. We are not outsiders who have made up a solution to a problem that does not exist. We are all licensed real estate agents. I've been licensed since 2005. I spent over 15 years as a full-time agent. James and Zach previously co-founded their own brokerage, and Lauren from our team is licensed as well. Again, I bring this up only to tell you that we are not people from outside the business. We are people who have been selling real estate and experienced these problems firsthand. We're also backed by some top-tier prop tech investors, including Modern Ventures, who many of you have probably heard of over the years. But as you all know, the industry is changing, right? We've got an increasingly competitive market. We've got new rules around compensation, and it's getting harder and harder for agents to differentiate themselves. And for us, that solution is RealReports. Now, RealReports is comprehensive property data from over 60, it's actually 65 data sources. Now, you will see data that you might find in MLS, public records, tax record information, but a lot of the information you are going to find in a RealReport, you're not going to find in the MLS. It's available for every home in the United States. So you'll have access in your area and in California in general, but you'll also have access in Maine and Florida and Washington and everywhere in between. And there's a lot of data in these reports, right? And we're sick of hearing about AI, as I'm sure you guys are. But the AI is very helpful. We think the AI can really help in this case. And we also think it's a really practical way for agents to start incorporating AI into their business practices. RealReports is available exclusively for real estate agents. While you will be sharing these reports with your consumers, consumers cannot pull these reports on their own. They need to go through a real estate professional in order to access this information. As I mentioned, we are real estate agents ourselves. We want to keep real estate agents at the center of the transaction, and we want you guys to be the ones who are providing this information to your clients. Well, there's a lot of data in a RealReport. What you're seeing here is a partial list of the data that's included, and below you'll see a partial list of the vendors we are working with. We spent a lot of time putting all this information together. We're always adding new information. I joined the team in January of 24. So last year, about, 15, 16 months ago at this point, we were 24 data sources and we're over 65 data sources now. I only tell you that to just say if there's information that you think is valuable and you'd like to see in the report, let us know. We're always happy to add things in. One of the things you'll see when I take you through is we've recently added California fire severity zones. That was a request from the team at ReCore and CRMLS. We met them at a REZO conference. They asked for that on a Wednesday, and that was live on our platform on a Friday. So we do move very quickly in terms of getting new data added to the reports. But that data is only valuable if you know what to do with it, which is why we have incorporated Aiden, our AI co-pilot, into all of the reports. Aiden is able to analyze thousands of data points quickly and easily. Obviously you can read through the reports and you can take a look at it, but you can also just ask Aiden questions about the report. And I'll show you some of that in a second when we get to the demo. Aiden can also summarize documents. Everybody has spent some time reading HOA and condo docs and seller's disclosures and home inspections, and those documents are long and often very boring. Now you can upload those documents into Aiden. Aiden will be able to analyze those documents and then summarize it for you. And then you can incorporate that into Aiden and just ask questions about that. I see Margaret is asking about floor plans. We haven't added floor plans yet. You are able to add floor plans, and I'll show you that when we go through the demo. I'll kind of show you where you might add some floor plans in here. Aiden is fair housing trained. So if someone asks a question that is a fair housing violation, Aiden will just tell them that it's a fair housing violation. It won't answer the question. We also know how much time you guys spend in the car. You don't always have time to type questions out, especially on the phone. So we also have a voice to text feature where you can just talk to Aiden and ask it questions. And Aiden is multilingual. So if you ask it questions in Spanish, it will respond in Spanish and in any other number of languages. So this is great when you are working with multilingual clients. And we always say this, we don't think AI is going to replace real estate agents, but we do think the agents who are able to leverage AI are going to start outcompeting the ones who are not doing that. Now, one of my favorite things about RealReports is that there are a lot of use cases. I'm going to go through a couple of them and I'll show you a couple more afterwards, but providing value to buyers, winning listing presentations, generating leads, mitigating risk, and streamlining research. From adding value to buyers' perspective, right? More and more, we are asked to justify our compensation. So what better way than to just show your buyers that you can provide them with the most information that they'll be able to find about a property before you submit an offer. We have a lot of agents who this is just part of their process. You're ready to make an offer. Here is we call it the seller, here's the top tier real report on this property, everything you might want to know about it. We also love it on a listing presentation. You'll see Jimmy Moscoso here. He's an agent in Florida. He's one of the first agents to use RealReports. He won a $6 million listing against a dozen other agents. And he attributed that to RealReports, to the point that he went on this podcast here and actually talked about how effective it was using on a listing presentation. It looks really good. It's mobile responsive, so let's go to a tablet or a cell phone. And it's just a way to show that your sellers that you are using the latest technology to help market their homes. We love it from a lead generation standpoint as well. What you're seeing here is our open house flyer. So we all know agents still have the paper sign-in sheets, and you'll get plenty of Mickey Mouses and Donald Ducks who come through. But what if you had this flyer out there instead, and it just said, scan this QR code and take Aiden on a tour of house with you. So they scan the QR code, we capture their name, email address, and phone number. And then when they're touring the house, they can just ask Aiden questions about the house. What school district is this in? Can I put an ADU in the backyard? Are there any permits on this house? And the best part about that is as the agent, you'll know who's asking the questions, what questions they're asking, and then you'll also know the response that the AI gave. So after the open house, you can start doing some real pointed follow-up rather than a generic, hey, what did you think? Do you have any questions? You can say, oh, hey, Bob, I saw that you were interested in the schools. Here's some more information in the schools in that area. So great way to start building rapport with potential clients and showing your any other consumers that you know the most about this property. From a risk mitigation standpoint, we're hearing all sorts of stories about agents and brokers who are involved in lawsuits, particularly around missing special assessments in HOA documentation. I know of a couple brokers who are getting sued for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 because the agents missed those special assessments, and then the buyers a year later are getting stuck with the check. So now you can upload those long, complex documents, have them summarized, and then ask questions. We will also provide an audit trail, so you'll be able to see what questions the consumer asked. So God forbid this ever came back one day, you could say, oh, well, you asked about a special assessment on May 8th, and we told you there was a special assessment planned for the following year. And obviously streamlining research, right? We've connected 65 different data sources here. A lot of these are publicly available. Many of these are pay to access, but we've got them all in one spot. So even if you did want to take the 4 or 5 hours it would take you to accumulate all of this information, then you got to put it together in a report to make it look good. We do all that work in under a minute for you guys. And obviously you're going to save a ton of time on reviewing these big documents. And then again, there's a ton of different ways you can use this, whether it's with buyers or sellers, from prospects to post-sale follow-up. So a lot of different ways that you can incorporate this in there. So I'm going to hop in and I'm going to show you what the platform looks like. Again, if you guys have any questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to do my best to answer them. Excuse me. So this is a real report. When you guys log in through RE Center Hub, it will be branded to your association. So you'll see your association's logo at the top here. This is our generic branding that we have on here. Over here on the left, you're going to see all of the information that's available in the report. You can quickly navigate down to any section by clicking them. You can also open these and see that there's a lot of information inside all of these. What we are looking at is our seller tier report, which is our top tier report. This is the most information you'll find, and I'll get into the tiers and what's included in them in a moment. You'll see over here, we've got the address of the property. It says this is the seller report. So if you want to share this, it's very easy to share. You can copy and paste this link into any of your marketing. You can email it right out of the platform. You can also download that QR code that I showed you on the open house flyer and include that in any other printed marketing materials you have. I like this as like rather than putting property flyers in a Dropbox outside that gives them all the information, why not just put a flyer that says, if you have questions, ask AI. And then you'll turn on the lead capture. And then after about 2 seconds, they'll be asked for their name and their email address in order to get information. So great way to start generating leads on your existing inventory. But if you're working with a client already, you can just turn this off and you can share reports with them and they won't need to log in to access. Some people still love printing things, so you can also print this as well. So we've got a 2 or 3 page stylized summary that looks good as a printed listing presentation insert. If you want to spend the money on ink, you can also print this entire report. It's about 180 pages right now if you try to print it, so make sure your toner is fully charged up before you start doing that. But we always like the little printed summary as well. And because we know every client is different, you can customize this report in terms of what information is seen and how the information is seen. We've got our own order that we present this information in, but you may be working with an investor client who's going to rent this, so you may move rental information right to the top of the report. You may be working with end users who are never going to rent this, so you might say, all right, I'm just going to hide these sections. If you click the eyeball, those sections just won't appear in the report when you share it with them. So you do have some control over the information that is seen in here. Below that, you'll see the branding block. You'll see my photo. This would be your broker's logo in here. It's got my name and email address. I can link out to all of my social media accounts. If I've got a page where I keep all of my listings or all of my reviews, I can link out to there as well. I can also include any notes about that I might want to give either my client or my consumer or any consumer up here as well. Over here on the right, you'll see Aiden, our AI co-pilot. Right before I hopped on the call, I asked it a question. I just said a couple of questions. I said, what's the rental potential? So it went through, it broke down both long-term and short-term rental potential, and it also gave a little commentary about whether, what might be the most beneficial, whether that be short-term or long-term rentals. I also asked it something like, what's the closest grocery store? So it told me the closest grocery store is a Sprouts Farmers Market that is 1.05 miles away right down the road. So like I said, you can access this information, but you can also just ask questions and learn more. Things like that, especially the neighborhood information, are great for people who might be new to the area. You'll see over here, we've imported some photos. So listing photos will be imported in here. You can actually upload them into the AI and ask questions about photos as well. Now, I'm going to shrink this because I'm a map nerd and I love maps. And we've recently added a ton of map layers in here. So I just want to show you that. I also mentioned documents, how you can upload documents. I also uploaded a home inspection. It's not for this property, it's for a different property. But it's about a 60-page document. And you can see right here that Aiden went in, it summarized it, gave general conditions, pulled out necessary repairs, priority levels, safety hazards, reviewed major systems, gave a couple maintenance tips, and then let them know that that's some information in the report there. So again, you're going to want to read all those documents, and so is your consumer, but it's a great way to summarize these quickly and easily. Now, as I get into the information, this is where the data kind of starts in the report. The first section in here is valuation data. We are not a valuation company. We do not produce our own valuations, but we work with a lot of companies that do. Consumers, they know about Zillow, they know about the Zestimate and Redfin and their estimates as well. Our position on that is they know about it, they're going to ask about it, so you might as well go head on and talk to them about it here. So you'll see here we've got min and max, and we've got average third-party valuation. We put all these on a scatter plot here so you can see what they are. You can see over here, this one is an outlier, but the rest of them are pretty tightly clustered. From time to time, agents will not agree with what these valuations are, which is why we recently added a section here. Agents can now include their own valuation range up here. So they might come in and say, I think this is going to be worth 1.5 to 1.6 million. They'll hit save. And in a second, this will change and it will say Brian's estimated valuation range. So now, as an agent, you can control the narrative around the approximate estimated value of the property. You also don't have to use this at all. If you don't use it, they'll never know you didn't use it. But if you think, oh, these are wildly inaccurate and I think mine is going to be better, or you can just say, I'm the professional, and based on my professional opinion, this is what I think the range is going to be. As I start scrolling down, you'll notice the map is dynamic. It is going to start auto updating depending on the section of the report that I'm in. So right here, you'll see we've got permit data. So you can see, looks like they replaced their heat pump and furnace back in 2023. So if you go into a house, maybe they've got a lot of work done recently, you want to know if there's permits that have been pulled. When they are available and digitized, we will pull those permits into the reports. We've got a ton of zoning data. So you can see here, the map has now changed to a zoning map. So if I zoom in a little bit and I click on the red, you'll see this area here is single family residence. and it's R1. Over here in the blue, this is RA, mixed use. Up here in the green is commercial. So great way for you to see what the zoning is on the property and see what other zones are around the property. We'll also pull out things like are ADUs permitted in commercial or industrial, so they can learn some more information about a property there. You can also click this link here. It will take you out to full zoning documentation for the municipality if you can't sleep. We've got long-term and short-term rental data. So you'll see the map has now switched. It's put some long-term rental comp on the map here. If I click on this green, it'll tell you what the fair market rents are for San Diego and Carlsbad areas based on HUD data. So you'll see that in there. You'll notice we've got average monthly rent, mins, max, cap rates for that, comps, as I mentioned up there. We have the same thing for short-term rental data. So we have an AirDNA integration here where it'll pull out estimated monthly revenue, how many nights per month they can expect to rent this, what they'll get per month, and again, tax cap rates and overall vacancy rates for that. We also link out to the comps from Airbnb or VRBO. So if you click on this, it will take you to the Airbnb or VRBO page for that. So you can actually look at it and say, is this actually a comp for my property? We've got a ton of financial information in here as well. So you see we've got the owner's mortgage amount, their rate, their term, when the mortgage started, estimated balance, combined loan to value. So tons of financial information there. We've got loan and transaction history. So you can read through here and see they've got a new loan. They've got a revolving line on the house as well. Tons of tax information, stuff you would find in a tax record. So the current property taxes and effective rates. We've got tax history on this property. It goes back to 2001. I've seen it go back as far as 1998. So usually between 20 and 25 years of tax history data is available. We will pull in some homeowner information. So if we have access to, the monthly fee or the quarterly or annual fee will be in there. We do not have access to homeowners' documents, but if someone were to upload rules and regs in there, we could summarize them and they could also be included and added into Aiden. Now, as I was vamping there, you'll see that this parcel map loaded. So now we've got parcel boundary outlines for all of these properties. So you can see an outline of this property. You can actually click on the neighbor's property, get the address, their name, how long have they lived there. And if you want to, you can actually pull a real report for that property right out of the map, which is pretty cool. We've got owner name and information there. So these guys have lived there for 19 years and it's owner occupied. You'll see the map has now started putting points of interest for the neighborhood on there. This is great for things like what's the closest restaurant or where's the police station or firehouse, food and drink, shopping, transportation, recreation, cultural things, all of that right there on the map. We've also got a lot of different layers you can turn on here. So if you guys wanted to see okay, are there any National Register of Historic Places? You'll see those purple dots that popped up. All of those would appear on the National Register of Historic Places. Things like federal lands or congressional districts, Bureau of Land Management sites, railroads nearby. We've got neighborhood scores like how noisy is it and walkable or bikeable. School district information, so the high level school district, and then what elementary, middle, or high school they would attend. We've also got ratings for nearby private and public schools included in there. More building and site characteristics in here. So year built, the style, again, typical MLS type data. You'll notice on the map, we'll get to that in a second. We have home performance. So we partnered with Pearl certification. If you're familiar with LEED certification for commercial buildings, Pearl certification does the same thing for residential buildings. So if the house has been Pearl certified, we'll pull out the score and any energy efficiency, appliances or changes that they've made to the house. Tons of site information. So how big is the lot, elevation, land use, latitude, longitude, county, municipality. Again, all that information that you might find in a typical tax report. Got a lot of utility information as well. So here you'll see estimated electricity usage and rates. So they'll get some estimated approximate cost of what it would cost for electric on this house. We'll do the same thing with solar. So if they were going to add a system, what would it cost? How much would it save them over 1 year or 20 years? If they were to replace with mini splits, how much would that cost and save them? You'll see down here, we also have internet speeds and providers. Over on the map, you'll see we've laid over high-powered transmission lines. One of the newer pieces we've added is alternative fueling stations. So if I click this button, all of those green dots are EV charging stations or liquid natural gas charging stations that are close by. That's a lot of consumers are interested in that information now. You'll see we've also got some remodel estimates. So if they were to remodel the property, what kind of projects what would that cost? How much would it add to the property? Lots of environmental data. So I'm going to zoom out a second here, but you'll notice on the map, you'll see we've got insurance cost now, insurance after risk rating 2.0. You can see that this property is not in a flood zone, but if you look up here, you'll see that these are some flood zones that are nearby. I mentioned earlier, we have the CAL Fire hazard severity zones. I clicked that layer on. You can see that these are the areas that are in the high zones there. You can also look for dams and faults. We added liquefaction susceptibility for your friends in Northern California. Now that may also apply to you guys as well. I'm actually not sure. Looks like you guys are safe from the ground turning into quicksand if there's an earthquake, which is good to know. But we've also got things like mineral rights and national forests, wetlands nearby, wildfire risk. So a lot of information in there. We've got data around average daily weather and temperature, area resiliency scores for natural disasters. So you'll see this is a relatively low area. Earthquake is the highest likelihood in that area. We've got historical disaster data. So you can see there was some flooding back in 2024, and there were some claims in this area when that happened. After that, hazardous materials facilities nearby. You'll see up here, this yellow zone is usually like a military base or airport or something like that. But we'll pull in things like county level radon levels, poor air quality days. They can turn on whether there are coal mines or formerly used defense sites in the area, hazardous materials facilities nearby. We've got news and media. So if the property has ever appeared in the news, it'll be there. We have census data, both by 5-year by county and by tract. So you see here, we got things like population, household size, education, employment, commuting, things like that. And then the last section is going to be crime data. So we'll have crime trends in the area. And then we'll also have arrest statistics and sex offender registry data. This one isn't too bad. There's only 8. So that is all of the data that's included in the report. Does anybody have any questions about that? Again, drop them in the chat or you can raise your hand. I'm happy to go over any of that. And we can all, I have a couple more slides and then I'll take questions and then you guys are free to go. So back to my slides here. All righty. So there's 3 tiers of the real report. We call it snapshot, buyer, and seller. You can use a seller report for buyers. You can use a buyer report for sellers. The easiest way to think of these as is good, better, and best. If it's in the snapshot, it's in the buyer. If it's in the buyer, it's in the seller. So it gets progressively more information as you go up. Now, as one of your benefits for North San Diego County Realtors is you get a free Real Reports subscription. If you were to do that on your own, it would cost you $120 a year. What that gets you access to is unlimited snapshot reports. You can pull as many of them as you want, literally hundreds, go for it. We want you to pull as many as you can. If you want to upgrade to buyer or seller, you're going to get a 33% discount. So buyer reports are $10, seller reports are $20. They'll all be branded to North San Diego County Realtors, and they'll also give you access to the premium features like AI document and photo analysis and client collaboration. Another benefit when you sign up, you can opt in to have one of the snapshot reports automatically sent to you every time you get a listing. It's just part of the process when you first sign up. If you do sign up for the automation, you'll get an email like this. It'll come right to your email box, and then you can start using that in your marketing and sharing that with potential consumers and trying to use that to capture leads. Now, we are easy to access. If you go to your RE Core dashboard, you will see this Real Reports button over here. And if you look, it's over here as well. So when you click on that, it'll take you to your dashboard. It's easy. Just type in an address, select from the dropdown, select the tier of the report you want to access, and you're ready to go. And you can upgrade. So you can start by pulling a snapshot report, and then let's just say, okay, they like this property. Do I want to upgrade? You can just upgrade to a higher tier report. You don't ever have to if you don't want to, but you can upgrade the reports as you have them. From our side, what do you expect from us? Obviously, fast and responsive support. As I mentioned, we build features quickly and we add data all the time. Liquefaction susceptibility was something that San Francisco realtors asked for. That was another thing that we had in there in about 3 days. We do regular webinars and trainings like this. We also do a monthly training that your association will be able to invite you to. That's for all of our partners. Sometimes it's about RealReports, sometimes just about AI or something else that's going on in the industry, but we do those at least monthly. We're also happy to do trainings whenever you guys want. Through the dashboard, you can also access our education hub 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've got FAQs and use cases, video walkthroughs, everything from 20-minute demo like I just showed you to a 30-second, how do I do this one specific thing? This is the team, and if you guys have any questions, I'll take them now. So Debbie asked, is there a cost? Yes, Debbie, it is at some level free to you. Your subscription is provided by North San Diego County Realtors. But if you did want to upgrade to the buyer or seller tiers of the report, there is a reduced cost for you. Where would we go to find out the fire severity zone? Would it be in the map you just showed? Yes, Pamela. So when you are in the report, you can go down to, I want to say it is down here in the environmental section. And if I open this map layer up, you'll see that there's a number of different options here. But you click here, and then you'll see the CAL fire hazard severity zones. Just so everybody knows, those are available as part of the snapshot reports. So those zones, that is a free map layer that you'll have access to on any property that you run. Again, only in California, but for you guys, you'll be able to pull those on any property. Any other questions? Alrighty. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time today. I know you got a lot going on. I know it's the busy season. These are our names and email addresses. If you guys ever have any questions, you can always reach out. We're super easy to find. We're just our first name at realreports.ai. Hopefully, you'll give it a try. Let us know what you think. If you've got comments or questions or feedback, we are very open to that. Odds are, if something will work for you, it will work for someone else as well. And we want to make this as useful as we can for everybody. So thank you for your time today. I do appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you all in there soon. Thanks, everyone.